for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's February 16, 2026, U.S. Air Force officials are warning that online flight tracking accounts are posting sensitive movements of military aircraft in near real time. Officers argue that if similar location details were shared internally without authorization, the information could be classified, and they say the public posts are complicating operational security and force protection planning. Senator Josh Hawley confronted Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison during a Senate hearing over the Feeding Our Future fraud case, a major COVID-era child nutrition scandal. Hawley accused Ellison of taking campaign donations connected to the scheme and failing to act on early warnings. Ellison disputed the accusations and said his office cooperated with federal prosecutions and returned improper contributions. HHS has released a large Medicaid provider spending dataset through a public open data portal, describing it as a transparency move that can help identify potential fraud and suspicious billing patterns. The dataset aggregates provider-level spending and procedures across multiple years. Supporters say it enables public accountability. Critics argue it can be misread without clinical context and state-level investigative follow-through. Commentator Peter Koenig is promoting a claim that the World Economic Forum is being Epsteined, framing it as elite institutions facing escalating scrutiny and reputational collapse. The content is spreading primarily through alternative media channels and is being used to argue that global governance groups are increasingly vulnerable to document dumps, leaks, and public backlash. A social media post from the Department of War account claimed it helped transport a next-generation nuclear reactor by military aircraft, describing it as a milestone for advanced nuclear capability. Coverage says the flight moved the reactor from California to Utah for testing and evaluation as part of broader interest in small nuclear systems for energy resilience and remote operations. Posts tied to Kirill Dmitriev amplify a quote attributed to Representative Tim Burchett, saying Epstein-related reports will shock the world. The claim is circulating inside activist and alternative media feeds as part of ongoing demands for broader disclosure of Epstein records and reduced redactions, with audiences treating it as a signal that more sensational material is expected. A viral post is calling a specific Q post the greatest of all time, Yar 4739. Strengthen my faith, Lord. Forgive my sins so that I may be clean in your righteousness. Make me brave so I can stand and fight the spiritual battles in my life and in our world. Give me your wisdom and discernment so I won't be caught off guard. Together, Lord, we'll win, because in truth, you already have. While evil still roams, the power of your name and your blood rises up to defeat and bring us victory against every evil planned against us. While malicious actions may disturb us, we use the armor of God you have given us to stand firm. You will bring justice in due time for all the harm and needless violence aimed at your children. Until then, we remain in your presence, aligned with your purposes, and we look to you as our supreme commander and protector. Help us to avoid temptation and deliver us from evil, Lord. You are the mighty one, the one who will ultimately bring all evil to light. With you, Jesus, we are safe. Amen. In Washington state, a father confronted a school board after learning his child participated in an anti-ICE walkout, alleging he was not informed in advance. The incident is fueling renewed debate over parent notification policies, student activism, and whether schools are allowing political demonstrations during instructional time without clear consent procedures. Clips from Munich are circulating that show a heated exchange involving Hillary Clinton and a pro-Trump Czech political figure focused on transgender politics and wokeness. The moment is being shared widely as a culture war flashpoint, with supporters portraying it as a public challenge to Clinton's messaging and critics treating it as staged confrontation content for viral reach. BRICS officials are being quoted discussing a potential precious metals trading exchange, pitched as a way to deepen member cooperation and diversify away from Western-dominated market infrastructure. The concept is being discussed alongside broader BRICS financial initiatives, with attention on whether a new platform would affect settlement systems, pricing influence, and cross-border commodities trade. Posts claim Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the release of all Epstein-related materials and are promoting a complete list of hundreds of names. The central issue is what was actually released, what remains sealed, and what is being circulated by third parties as complete. The nameless content online is driving a new wave of misidentification risks and reputation attacks. A resurfaced clip of Hillary Clinton is being shared with claims she said mass immigration went too far and destabilized the West. The controversy now centers on what she said, the context of her remarks, and how political groups are using the clip to argue for stricter immigration limits and cultural integration policies.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Acun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Acun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Acun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wood and pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Acun's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Acun.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's February 16, 1926, commentary posts accuse Representative Thomas Massie of attacking President Trump by using the phrase Epstein administration during an interview. The segment is circulating as an internal right dispute story, with attention on whether Massie was making a broader point about institutional failures or implying personal wrongdoing. The rhetoric is intensifying political infighting as Epstein-related narratives continue trending. Italygate allegations are being reposted again, claiming a foreign-led operation helped overturn the 2020 U.S. election. These claims are circulating primarily through online forums and are not supported by publicly verified evidence. The posts are being used to keep election fraud narratives active and to push calls for renewed investigations and document releases. California sheriff and gubernatorial candidate Chad Bianco is being promoted in posts claiming he would end property taxes if elected. His campaign messaging emphasizes affordability and tax relief, but eliminating property taxes would require major legal and fiscal changes. Public filings and business reporting indicate Barron Trump is listed as a director or partner connected to a beverage startup described as Solos Yerba Mate Inc. The story is drawing attention because of the Trump family profile and the company's proximity to Palm Beach. Coverage focuses on corporate records, who the other directors are, and what the venture plans to sell. A segment circulating online claims to investigate overseas ventures linked to Ilhan, Omo's husband. The reporting is being pushed as an accountability story, but the specific allegations vary by outlet and are often framed through partisan lenses. The key verification points are corporate registrations, contract documents, travel records, and any official findings tied to alleged overseas business activity. A Department of War post about transporting a next-generation nuclear reactor is being reposted widely, with multiple outlets treating it as a notable logistics and technology milestone. Coverage emphasizes the military transport component and the broader strategic interest in small advanced reactors for energy security. A Minnesota lawmaker is raising concerns about the state's voter rolls leading into upcoming elections. The claims typically focus on list maintenance, duplicate registrations, address accuracy, and audit procedures. Election officials generally respond by pointing to existing verification systems and statutory processes, while critics argue those processes are insufficient and require tighter controls and independent review. A late-night segment on Gutfeld is circulating in clips that highlight Minnesota political leaders blaming chaos in the state on President Trump. The discussion is being used as a proxy fight over accountability for governance, law enforcement, and migration-related pressures, with the content moving fast on social platforms because the show format produces short, shareable confrontations. Additional Epstein-related posts are circulating in bulk, pushing new screenshots, keywords, and name interpretations. The main development is not a single document, but the volume and speed of repackaging, where partial excerpts are being framed as definitive conclusions. That dynamic is escalating public pressure for primary source publication while also increasing false identification and context-stripping risks. Reuters and other major outlets report Israel approves steps to resume land registration in parts of the West Bank for the first time since 1967. Israeli officials describe it as an administrative process. Palestinians and rights groups warn it could accelerate dispossession and deepen long-term control. Analysts say the key impact will be which claims are recognized and how disputes are adjudicated. Kirill Dmitriev commented publicly on Rubio's remarks about caring deeply about the EU, using the moment to push Russia-facing narratives about Western unity and leverage. The posts are being shared as part of a larger influence campaign ecosystem, where foreign officials amplify selective Western statements to shape public perception about alliances, costs of support for Ukraine, and internal European divisions.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, February 16, 2026. A story circulating online claims an American detained in Venezuela described experiences near the end of Nicolas Maduro's previous political crisis period. Accounts vary depending on the outlet, but the common thread is allegations about detention conditions, interrogation, and political pressure. The key verification points are court filings, State Department statements, and any documented timelines of custody and release. An 84-page Epstein autopsy and death investigation report is being referenced in online threads, with posters claiming it answers major questions while others argue it raises new ones. The practical issue is what version is authentic, what is officially released, and what remains sealed. The renewed focus is showing that Epstein's death remains a central driver of public distrust. A controversy in Washington state is trending after a figure reportedly bragged about contacting Child Protective Services in response to students attending a TPUSA-related gathering. The story is fueling debate over political retaliation, minors' rights, and whether CPS referrals are being used as intimidation. The core issue is whether any report was warranted or purely punitive. A Peter Navarro op-ed titled, "Clinton is not Navarro, a constitutional distinction that matters," is being shared as a legal argument over accountability, executive power, and standards applied to political figures. The piece is circulating as part of broader debates over prosecutions, congressional contempt fights, and whether legal institutions are being applied evenly across party lines. The U.S. State Department published a joint press availability featuring Marco Rubio and Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico. The appearance is drawing attention because it reflects current U.S. engagement with Central European leaders and ongoing tensions over energy, Ukraine, and EU dynamics. The key takeaways revolve around alliance messaging, sovereignty language, and policy posture toward regional security. Satanic witch Marina Abramovich is trending again after she made comments claiming she no longer feels safe in public. A Bloomberg-linked report says California has been importing unusually large volumes of gasoline, with a significant share arriving via the Bahamas. adding cost and complexity in an already expensive fuel market. Analysts cite refinery constraints, limited pipeline options, and market quirks that reroute fuel through non-intuitive paths. The practical result is higher vulnerability to supply shocks and price spikes. A claim reposted by Kirill Dmitriev says, "In Munich, nobody asked Zelensky about a shrinking circle and corruption pegged at $50 billion. The figure is being used in information warfare messaging. Separate reporting confirms corruption remains a major political and governance issue in Ukraine." Marco Rubio has continued emphasizing his Munich-related messaging in follow-up remarks, framing the U.S. posture as alliance-focused while pushing partners to strengthen defense capacity and coordination. The story is being watched for its signal value, whether Rubio is setting a long-term foreign policy line, and how European governments respond amid war, energy insecurity, and domestic political pressure. A clip of Bill Kristol is circulating with claims he admitted mass migration was planned. The content is being used to argue intentional demographic and political change, but the meaning depends heavily on context and what policies or strategies were being discussed. The key issue is whether the clip reflects an explicit plan or a rhetorical critique being repackaged for viral framing. NASA reports SpaceX's Crew Dragon successfully docked with the International Space Station, restoring full crew capacity after a period of reduced staffing. The docking followed a multi-hour orbital chase after launch, and the mission highlights continued U.S. commercial crew capability and international crew integration aboard the station. Hillary Clinton is drawing attention after remarks circulating online in which she says mass immigration went too far and has destabilized Western societies. The comments are being shared as a major shift in tone from a longtime Democrat leader, and they are reigniting the fight over border enforcement, asylum integrity, and the strain migration places on public services. The political impact now depends on whether Clinton clarifies, doubles down, or walks the statement back as immigration becomes a central issue again. ICE planning documents and reporting describe a detention re-engineering initiative aimed at expanding detention and processing capacity, with the stated goal of faster removals. Coverage describes facility acquisition and renovation, expanded processing sites, and operational redesign. A video episode titled "Drugged and Butchered: How Organ Traffickers Operate" is circulating as part of a true crime-style series on organ trafficking. The report describes how criminal networks recruit vulnerable victims, move showpiece medical operations through corrupt contacts, and monetize illicit transplant demand across borders, fueling calls for tougher enforcement and better oversight of transplant systems. Reporting and analysis pieces are circulating on the question of foreign nationals serving in Israel's military during the Gaza war, including dual citizens from the U.S. and Europe. The debate centers on legal accountability, whether specific countries investigate nationals who fight abroad, and what role freedom of information data plays in documenting the scale of foreign participation.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement. And we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.